Hey everybody. I spoke with the elders today about the recent mass shooting and mass shootings in general, with intentions of passing on what they say to you guys. And I thought a video would be better than explaining all the cards, because they gave me a lot of cards. It'd be a lot to read. So I'm going to try to do more videos to pass on their messages, because I feel it's going to be easier and more fun for you guys to get what they say without having to do so much reading. So here's what they said. I said, well, before I even asked them about it, they said, the problem and the solution are coming into focus at the same time. So that's awesome, because whenever we see what we don't want, we send out a rocket of desire about what we do want. And so they're saying that we're finally switching our focus away enough from what we don't want to be able to focus on coming up with ideas that will work for the solution, which is good, because we do a lot of paying attention to what we don't want in society. So, hold on, my cat wants to get in the way of the computer screen. Okay. All right, here's what they said. They said, I asked them, what is your message to the people of the United States about their concern about the mass shootings? They said, the first thing that is contributing to more of them happening is the media's choice of what they choose to cover in the news every day. There are so many beautiful, peaceful, wonderful, bountiful things that happen in the world every day. If this is what the media covered, there would be no mass shootings at all, because the shooter would not get the media attention and thusly get the entire country talking about them through doing it. And they wouldn't choose the risks involved in committing such an act over what they would gain from it, because the gain would be nil. But because the media and the people are choosing to feed to this particularly dramatic things that are negative, so the media tends to focus on the dramatic things, but the negative dramatic things, not as much of the positive dramatic things that are happening in the world, that's causing this to perpetuate in our reality. So the first thing that needs to happen is people need to understand there is a long line of acts and thoughts that contributed into creating events like these. These events are a check-in to tell you where you are right now as a mass consciousness. They are saying too many people are choosing to look at, the elders are saying that too many people are choosing to look at the negative around them and the mountain that lies ahead of them, or creating a mountain with their thoughts. Thinking things like, oh, the world has gone to hell. I don't even know what happened. This is sure a cruel and unjust world we live in, etc., etc. These thoughts have to come into physical being. So this is perpetuating experiences like that for these people, and it proves them right. So I know that's going to confuse a lot of people, and we can talk about that in more detail later, but I'll just briefly say that when you're on a frequency of believing that about the world, you're not going to be on the frequency of preventing it from happening. So you're going to miss some things along the way, like this guy. You're just going to look at him and say, yep, kids these days, they're just goners, can't do a thing with them. I don't know what happened, but they're just not how they used to be. And, that kid needs a whole different perspective than that. He needs help way before this happened. And so that's a whole nother longer video, so I'm not going to get into that right now, but you can understand where the elders are coming from there. Okay, so back to what they're saying about the shootings. But this is a catalyst for the outcome that many do want and are focusing upon. There has been a turn that recently happened. People that wanted to stop have put their foot down, energetically speaking, and now the scale will be tipping toward the solutions, overcoming the problem. Ways to keep this from happening again and again in our schools. They want to also speak about the shooter. The elders also want to speak about the shooter and how he came to be the shooter. And this goes for many of the other ones in the past as well, they're saying. They were in situations where they felt great pain on an emotional level. This particular shooter, had something going on with his father. And they also said that he also had great emotional pain from being kicked out of school. They're saying this is not working. It only shoved him further down into the direction he was headed, taking away his ability to get something better for himself in his life by kicking him out of school. Just grows what you don't want into a bigger vortex of creation. So basically, we're creating a bigger monster by that idea. You are creating more of what you don't want without realizing it, they're saying. This is not an act of unconditional love for him when he was in a state of great distance from the source within him that brings him pure love. Instead, it is a reactive action that mirrors where he was. So basically, he was creating that by his actions, and he got back the same frequency that he was acting out upon. So society was giving him back what he was dishing out to society. And that whole back and forth thing doesn't work. Someone's got to jump out of that rut and go to the higher level of unconditional love and light and see things from that perspective, is what they're saying. Other solutions exist in the great vibrational reality that you are also creating. So society is also creating other solutions right now. They're being created in a vibrational dimension. Understanding much earlier on how to help people when they are needing it is a very important step. Listen to what he was saying. He was crying out for help and no one heard him. Then, out of his extremely distanced state, distant from alignment with the source energy that is calling to him at all times, he sought to be heard in a bigger and bigger way until he was heard. Also, the perspective that most, and especially the media, present to the situation is also fueling more of this. The media states it all in perspectives of X amount of lives lost, which is not the case. You can't lose a life. Souls live on forever, and you can't kill any soul. So the great emphasis being put on who lived and died, and the great emphasis being put on the ones that died by the media and the people, is what tempts the shooters into wanting to kill to be heard. Because they imagine all this happening after they do it, and all the attention. So they're shifting their pain onto creating all this other pain for the other people, and they think that's going to make them feel better. Back to what they said. They think of no one made any public outcries about that, and if no one gave him any attention to his behavior, do you think they would feel that they would gain great satisfaction out of doing it? No, they would not. And no, taking guns away does not solve the problem, for it will only manifest itself in a different way, just as scary as this one, because you do not rise above the level of consciousness that are creating these events in the first place. And they gave me a blip of some of the things that could be done if guns were taken away, and they're just as bad. It's not going to get anywhere. So as society continues to evolve, this will fizzle out, and you will learn to put these fuses out long, long, long before they snowball into an outrage this big from the perpetrator. Happy, aligned people don't commit these acts. So that's ground number one right there. Understanding when someone's out of alignment and how to help them get back into alignment way before they get that far out of alignment that they feel they have to act in that manner. They're saying, so you know where your work lies. This is where our work lies as society, because happy, aligned people don't commit those acts. So we know where our work lies, in that area. In the meantime, as you continue to evolve as a society, short-term fixes for this will come to your minds, and you will enact upon them as you have to put your foot down on this matter once and for all. Society has screamed out, enough is enough. So we are tipping the scales more to the solution. We're done just sitting here and being stunned and dazed by it happening. We're like, let's act now and get going. Let's get together, and we're ready to move on above this and create the solutions that are going to work. But remember, what you think about is what you are creating. So they're warning us, focus on that we want solutions, not being frozen by the act itself. What you focus on is what you are creating. So you must turn your energies and thoughts with unconditional love for both the families that experienced the great tragedy, and I want to also express my personal great empathy for the loss you guys are experiencing right now. as well as the perpetrator equally. So they're saying, the elders are saying, we must be able to express unconditional love for the perpetrator as much as the victims and their families. And if we're not there, then this is going to continue to happen. So they said, and until you can do that, there will continue to be crimes committed in your society. Crimes in general, like all crimes. I said thank you to them. What would you like to say in conclusion? They said, we want to go back to the first thing we said about it, which is that the problem and the solution are coming into focus at the same time now for you, and the scales will soon be tipped in the solution's favor. So hopefully that helps, and we can get rolling in the right direction. Thanks, you guys.